Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about a very famous perfume right now, and it's from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and it is of course a Baccarat Rouge 540. So if you're into fragrance at all, I know you've heard about Baccarat Rouge 540. If you watch YouTube, even if it's not fragrance channels, if you just watch beauty channels who are into fragrance, then I know you have heard of this perfume. It is very expensive, as we will get into in a second, but it is raved about by so many. So first up, I do kind of want to break down what this video is all about so you're not confused by the title. But of course, this will be a review of the Baccarat Rouge 540, but we're also going to talk about the dupes for it. And after we talk about the dupes and which one is closest out of my collection, then we will talk about what I prefer. So if you're interested, then just stay tuned. Okay, so first let's talk about the original. Baccarat Rouge 540 is a beautiful perfume. I just want to start by saying that to me, when I smelled it, I felt like it was very unique. Now that it's become so popular, there are so many like dupes or clones of this fragrance. And for me, when I think about dupes, I think about actual perfume companies that make their own stuff, but you can tell that they are inspired by this particular perfume. Whereas when I think about clones, I think about perfumes that are meant to be like an exact copy of MFK or of any perfume, whatever they're trying to clone. So for me, I personally don't mind dupes, but clones I'm not really 100% sold on, to be honest. I mean, I feel like whatever you want to do, you do you, but for me, I don't know, some of these clones are like $70 and I don't know, I'm not so sure about it, so we won't really get into that. But you know, you do you, whatever works for you is fine. So I'm not going to talk about notes for all of these fragrances, but I am going to talk about the notes of the original, the Baccarat Rouge 540 Eau de Parfum. So the top notes are jasmine and saffron, heart notes are amberwood, and then the base notes are cedarwood and fir. And for me, when I saw that saffron was in this, it really intrigued me, because to me that's a unique note for a perfume. Now there are other perfumes actually in this little lineup that have saffron in them, and I think, to me, I think that's where the comparison really like starts to be pulled from. I took a long time to kind of talk about this perfume, honestly, because it's a very unique smell. It has this medicinal quality to it, but it's also like a warm, like almost like a cotton candy smell. But that sounds like cheap and disgusting. No, it is not cheap and disgusting at all. When you wear this, you can really smell the quality of it. It's like a warm, enveloping smell. It does have that medicinal note to it that I know some people don't like and can't get on with. It's almost like a metallic smell. But for me, I really enjoy it. So not only does it smell like expensive and luxurious, for me, this perfume lasts literally all day. And when I say all day, I mean at least 10 hours. And for me, I can still smell it. Now, I have heard from a lot of people that when they wear this, they go like where they can't smell it. Basically, they become nose blind to it. I don't find that an issue. And for me, actually, if I overspray this, it can be like way too much. Even if I just spray this normally, I kind of feel like it's way too much. And we'll kind of talk about that later, but for me, everybody smells this on me. I get at least a good 10 hours of wear with it still smelling very strongly. And yeah, I think it's worth it if you love the scent. So next up, I do want to talk about the extrait, and this is still Baccarat Rouge 540, but this is the extrait de parfum. So this is like basically a more concentrated version. Now when I say that, that does not mean they smell exactly the same, but you know, in perfume you have different levels of concentration. So you have eau de toilette, which was like a weaker, and then you have eau de parfum, and then you have extrait de parfum. I didn't mention colognes, but those are weaker than eau de toilette. So just to get that out of the way. So this is like a more concentrated version of the perfume. And with that, it does come with a higher price tag. It is similar to the original, the Eau de Parfum, but for me, this one is sweeter. It's more, I actually prefer the extrait because it's sweeter. To me, it smells more well blended, and it also has this nutty quality to it. But at the same time, it's like softer, if that makes sense. Like I feel like the regular Eau de Parfum has kind of this sharpness to it. I think it's the medicinal note that's in there. Whereas this one I feel like is a more rounded fragrance, if that makes sense. So yeah, out of these two, I've already given this away, but I prefer the extrait. Just right off the bat, I'll tell y'all that. I'm gonna try to hold the rest of my opinions till the end. But yeah, I love the extrait. I think that it vibes well with my chemistry. And honestly, when I wear this, I've gotten lots of compliments. Although it is, to me, smells a bit softer, I don't know, I just feel like it's more enjoyable and it's still very long lasting. I remember one time I wore this to work. I put it on at 7 in the morning and somebody came in, I think around like 3:30, maybe 4. And as soon as they walked in, they were like, ooh, somebody smells good. And they were probably about 5 to 10 feet away from me. And then all my coworkers like, it's Aisha, she smells delicious. And I'm like, oh, thank you. So yeah, I really, really like the extrait de Parfum. Okay, so now let's get into the dupes. So first up is a perfume from a well-known niche brand, and this is from the brand Mancera, and it's called Instant Crush. And can we just talk about this bottle? Now, I know I didn't mention the MFK, the Baccarat Rouge bottles. We know they're gorgeous. I will insert some pictures of them if you didn't already see them. So those are beautiful as well, but I really love the look of this bottle. It's like a gradient gold, like a sheer gold up into like a metallic gold, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit more transparent at the bottom than the top. Really, really pretty. Looks very nice on my vanity. I have this in a 2-ounce size, but it does come in a 4-ounce size. The 4-ounce size is the only size that's available readily from any United States retailers, and I think that retails for $180. The 2-ounce bottle you can find at like Lucky Scents or Crystal Fragrances, I think is where I got mine from, but also I've seen it on Selfridge's websites, and I think you can find it in Europe. But anyway, I got the 2-ounce bottle, which retails for around $90, I believe. But anyway, I wanted to mention this one because in my opinion, it is not a dupe. But when I first heard about this, it was a video that I watched that people were claiming this was a dupe for Baccarat Rouge 540, the Eau de Parfum. And I have to say, I don't think it's a dupe, but I do smell the similarity. It does have saffron as one of the top notes, which is why I kind of wanted to mention the notes of the first one. So it does have saffron in it as well. And I do think that it smells similar when you first spray it. It has that kind of medicinal vibe, but to me, this is a lot more like deep and complex. And I know some of y'all are gonna hate that I said that, but to me, I just feel like this fragrance has a lot more depth than Baccarat Rouge 540. Not saying one is better than the other. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that to me, they don't smell the same. This one also projects more to me than Baccarat Rouge 540, and it is just as long lasting as 540. So I can smell the similarities in this, but to me, they're not the same. This one has more of a fruity vibe to it once it dries down. So initially when you spray it, it kind of does smell exactly like 540, but then once it dries down, I feel like it gets this fruity, incensey type vibe. And I really, really like it. I've worn this one the most out of the fragrances that I'm going to show you. So I really do like this, but do I think it's a dupe? No. I also think that if you have Baccarat Rouge 540 and you like it, you will probably like this one too, as long as you don't go into it thinking it is a dupe. When I first purchased this, I wasn't sure about it because I expected it to smell the same, and it doesn't. But as I wore it and just realized it's its own fragrance, I came to really, really enjoy it. The next one we're going to talk about is probably the most popular dupe, and this is a celebrity fragrance, and it's from Ariana Grande, and it's called Cloud. Now, y'all seen this in my videos before. Y'all know I'm not a fan of the bottle. It comes with this big white cloud thing on the bottom that's actually just a stand so you can remove it. So I removed that, and it does look a little better just being glass. If I wasn't like a person who felt like I needed a top of my perfumes, I would just sit it like this on my vanity, but I've kept the top so far. But anyway, it's about what's inside. So this to me smells extremely similar to Baccarat Rouge 540 Eau de Parfum. I have heard people say it smells like the extrait to them, but not to me. To me, it smells like the Eau de Parfum, and it initially smells like Baccarat Rouge, but after it dries down and kind of mellows into your skin, it is a lot softer and it gets this coconutty type vibe to it. So whereas Baccarat Rouge 540, kind of when it is in your skin, it warms up and kind of smells like cotton candy, burnt sugar top vibe. To me, this one smells more like coconut, warm, plus cotton candy, if that makes sense. So for me, I actually prefer this on my clothes. On my clothes, I feel like it smells the same the whole way through. So it smells like Baccarat Rouge 540 in my opinion. But on my skin, it does not after it dries down. So I really like this. It's not exact, but to me, it does smell very similar to the original. I'm so sick of saying Baccarat Rouge 540, so we just gonna call it 540 from here on out. So it smells very similar to 540, but it is a bit different. And I think if you had one, you could still wear the other as well, if that makes sense. This is definitely lighter. It does not project as much as 540, but people will still smell you and compliment you on it. So the next one is the one that, in my opinion, is closest to 540, and that is from All Saints, and it's called Sunset Riot. Now this one, I have to be honest, I purchased just because I wanted to include in this video. So I heard somebody else talk about it. I think it was Karina Waldron. I know that for sure. I'll link her video about 540 down below. But she mentioned this as being a dupe, and I had some Nordstrom notes, so I figured I had enough to purchase this perfume, which is a shame, but I had enough Nordstrom notes, so I purchased this with that, and so I didn't really spend my own money on it. But I have to say, this to me is the closest dupe of 540. So let's talk about the differences though. They do smell very similar, but there are some differences. In my opinion, this is like a lighter, fresher take on 540. So if you smell them, they smell the same, but as you wear this one throughout the day, I just feel like it has a lighter note to it. I almost feel like this is more appropriate. This would be like the spring summer version of 540. I don't know personally that I would wear 540 in like the heat of Florida summers, because I feel like it would be overpowering, but I do feel like I could wear this one. So even though they do smell very similar, and this one does like smell the same throughout its life, it's a lot lighter in my opinion. So if you like 540 but you think it's too like much for you, definitely check this out. I think this was $79, and this is 3.4 fluid ounces, so not a bad price. And I purchased mine at Nordstrom. I'm not sure who else sells it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this lasts all day on me. I never thought it did, because the previous times I had worn it, I was out and about doing a lot of stuff, and I wasn't really paying attention. But yesterday I wore it to work, which is a good place for me to test fragrances. And at like 4 o'clock is when I kind of smelled it again, and I realized, that's still on me, and I put it on at like 7 in the morning. So this is long lasting as well. So if you're looking for a dupe to 540, like you just don't want to pay the money for it, or you don't have the money for it, or you just don't think you should pay that much for a perfume, this one to me is the closest you can get, and it's very reasonably priced. Now, one like honorable mention that I want to add is fragrance oils. So I have one from fragrantbodyoils.com, and this is their impression of 540. And to me, it does smell like 540, but it's not as rich and high quality, obviously. I think this was like $8. But what I have done is worn this with this, and I feel like it smells really good together. And I do feel like it can make, actually I've worn it with, I've worn these together as well, and I feel like it makes this one a bit more long lasting when you pair them together. Okay, now that we talked about all the dupes, I do want to tell you, you know, if I think 540 is worth it. And I have to say, yes, I do think it's worth it if you are super into perfumes or you just really love it, because it's a, like, who could take anything away from it? It's popular for a reason. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's long lasting. People will smell it on you, and it's a beautiful bottle, beautiful presentation. And I know they use high quality ingredients in it, and you can definitely smell the quality in it. But for me, I do not think I would be purchasing a full bottle of it, just because maybe if I hadn't smelled Cloud before I got 540, then maybe I would have went for the full bottle. But Cloud was my first one, and to me they smell so similar that I don't feel like I need 540. Now, if I was going to purchase one of the MFK ones, I would purchase the extrait, and I probably will purchase this at some point. But the reason I haven't, honestly, is because it's like $400 and something. That's a lot. Now, I know I spend a lot on perfumes, but I have not wrapped my head around spending that yet. And plus, I'm on a no buy right now when it comes to perfumes up until May of this year. So I won't be purchasing this anytime soon, but if I get some extra money or somebody gives me a gift card, nobody's giving me a gift card for this, but if I happen to come across some money that's not allotted to anything, I would definitely pick up the extrait. I love it, and although it's softer, like I said, I feel like it's more well blended. It's like a step up. I don't know. I just prefer the extrait. Now, as far as the dupes go, my favorite is Mancera Instant Crush, even though, like I said, in my opinion, it's not really a dupe, but this is my favorite. I actually prefer Instant Crush over the original 540. So I really love this. Like I said, you can have both. There's no problem with that. They are a little bit different enough to justify having both, but this is my favorite. And then I would have to say my second favorite is Cloud. And what I like about this one is that it's a bit lighter and a bit coconuttier, but to me it still smells very, 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 very similar to 540. So I kind of feel like if I have this one, I don't need the original 540. One more thing I want to add. Compliments are not everything to me, but I did kind of want to share which ones I get the most compliments off of. And out of all of these that I mentioned, the one that I've gotten complimented the most on is Instant Crush, maybe because I've worn it the most, but also after that would be the 540 extrait. So if that's important to you, just know those are the ones that I get complimented on. I've actually never received a compliment while wearing the original 540. I feel like I've rambled on and on in this video. I hope this video was helpful to you all. I know we talked about a lot of fragrances, so hopefully nothing was confusing. But if you have questions about anything, definitely leave it in the comments below. And let's talk down in the comments. Let us know if you've tried 540. Do you think it's worth it? Have you tried any of these dupes for it? And, you know, just let us know your thoughts down below. Let's have a conversation. So anyway, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.